Hi, good morning to everyone. Hi, this is Sri Prem Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science. Today, I'm going to talk about the security issues in the cloud computing. So, we know the cloud is one of the widely used technology in the world of IT. We will discuss about the security issues in cloud computing. The cloud computing is a type of a technology that provides remote services on the internet to manage, access, and store data rather than storing it on servers or the local drives. This technology is also known as serverless technology. Here, the data can be anything like images, audio, video, document, files, and etc. So the below diagram shows that we are the end users and there are the service providers will be accessing in between the end users and the service provider. We have the cloud where the different types, that is, you can also store the data, you can also get then access of the server, and you can also get the services of the clouds and also the networks. Needs of cloud computing. Before using cloud computing, one of the most of the large as well as small IT companies use a traditional methods, that is, they store data in servers and need to separate server rooms for that. In that server room, there should be a database server, email server, firewalls, routers, modems, high speed net devices, etc. For that, IT companies have to spend a lot of money in order to reduce all the problems with wide cost cloud computing comes into existence, and most companies shifted to this technology. The security issues in cloud computing are as follows. There is no doubt that the cloud applications are the cloud computings, the various advantages, but there are also some the security issues in the place. Below are some following security issues in cloud computing as follows. The data loss. The first one we're going to talk about is the data loss. The data loss is one of the issues faced in the cloud computing platform. It is also known as the data leakage. As we know that our sensitive data is in the hands of somebody else and we don't have a full control over our database. Interferences of the hackers and the insecure APIs. As we know, if we are talking about the cloud, it is the services it means we are talking about the internet. Also, we know the easiest way to communicate with the cloud is using APIs. So, it is important to protect the interface, the APIs which are used by an internal users, but also in cloud computing few services are available in the public domain, which are the vulnerable part of the cloud computing because it may be the possible that these services are uh, accessed by the third parties. The next one, users account hijacking. Use account hijacking is the most serious security issues in cloud computing. If somehow The accounts of the users are an organization is hijacked by the hackers, then the hackers has the full authority to perform unauthorized activities. The next one is changing service provider. The vendor lock-in is also an important security issue in cloud computing. Many organizations will face a different problems while shifting from one vendor to another. For example, an organization want to shift from AWS cloud to Google Cloud services, then they face various problems like shifting of all data. Also, both cloud services have a different techniques and functions. So, they also face problems regarding that. Also, it may be possible that the charges of AWS are different from the cloud, that is the Google Cloud, etc. The next one is the lack of skills. While working or shifting to another service provider, need an extra features, how to use the features, etc. are the main problems caused in IT company why doesn't have skilled employees. So it requires a skilled employee per employee to work with cloud computing. Then the next one is denial of service attack. So it was a familiar one, but we'll see about what it was telling in this cloud computing. This type of attacks occurs when the system receives too much of traffic. Mostly the DOS attacks occurs in the large organizations such as banking sectors, government sectors, and etc. When a DOS attack occurs, the data is lost. So, in order to recover the data, it requires a great amount of money as well as time to handle it. The privacy challenges in cloud computing. The cloud computing is a widely well discussed topics today with internet from all fields, be it research, academia, or the IT industries. It have been certainly started to be a hot topic in international conferences and the other opportunities throughout the whole world. The spike in job opportunities is attributed to huge amount of data being processed and stored on the server. The data confidentiality issues is telling about it is an important issue to consider when externalizing and outsourcing extremely delicate and sensitive data to the cloud service providers. The personal data should be more made unreachable to users who do not have a proper authorizations to access it, and one way of making sure that the confidentiality is by the usage of severe access control policies and regulations. The lack of trust between the users and the cloud service providers are the cloud database service providers regarding the data is a major security concerns and holds back a lot of peoples from using cloud services. In the case of data loss issues, the data loss or the data theft is one of the major security challenges that the cloud providers face. If a cloud vendor has reported the data loss or the data theft of a critical or the sensitive material data in the past, more than 60% of the users would decline to use the cloud services provided by the vendors. The outages of the cloud services are very frequently visible even from firms such as Dropbox, Microsoft, Amazon's, etc., which in turn results in an absence of trust in their services during a critical time. Also, it is quite easy for an attackers to gain access to multiple storage units even if a single one is compromised. Then the next one is the geographical data storage issues. In this case, it was distributed across the different geographical locations spread throughout the world. It is often possible that the user's data is stored in a location that is out of the legal judiciary jurisdiction, which leads to the user's concerns about the legal accessibility of local law enforcement and regulations on a data that is stored out of their regions. Moreover, the user fears that the local laws can be violated due to the dynamic nature of the clouds, making it very difficult to delegate the specific servers that is to be used for trans-border data transmissions. Multi-tenancy security issues. In this, that follows the concept of sharing computational resources, data storage, applications, and service among different tenants. This is then hosted by the same logical or the physical platforms at the cloud service provider's premises. While following this approach, the providers can maximize profits but puts the customers at a risk. Attackers can take undue advantage of the multi residence opportunities and can launch various attacks against their co-tenants, which can result in several privacy challenges. Transparency issues. In cloud computing security, the transparency means the willingness of a cloud service providers to reveal different details and characteristics on its the security preparedness. Some of these details compromises the policies and regulations of the securities, privacies, and service levels. In addition to the willingness and the depositions, when calculating transparency, it is important to notice how reachable the security readiness, the data, and the informations actually are. It will not matters the extent to which the security facts about an organizations are at hand if they are not presented in an organized and easily understandable way for cloud service users and auditors. The transparency of the organizations can then also be rated relatively small. Then the hypervisor related issues, it was in the case of the virtualization where the computing resources from physical restrictions and the constraints. But this poses new challenges for factors like users authentication, accounting and authorizations. The different from the physical devices that the independent of one another is the virtual machine in the cloud usually resides in the single physical device that is managed by the same supervisor. The compromise of the supervisor or hypervisor will hence put various virtual machines at risk. And you see about the next one, the managerial issues. There are not only the technical aspects of the cloud privacy challenges, but also non-technical and managerial ones. Even on the implementing the technical solutions to a problem or a product and not managing it properly is eventually bound to introduce vulnerability. Some examples are the lack of control, security and privacy, management for virtualization, developing comprehensive service levels agreements, going through cloud service vendors, and users negotiations, etc. Hope you all understand about the security risk in place of cloud computing. Thank you.